I'm Wade from Thoroughbred Diesel, and this is Chris with the Ultimate Callout Challenge, and today we're going to talk to you about what it takes to win UCC. Today we've got Chris here from UCC, and we're going to talk to him about the Ultimate Callout Challenge. And this year, Thoroughbred Diesel, we're going to be set up at the DPI Expo, which we're going to tell you just a little bit about that here in just a second. But Thoroughbred's going to be set up there this year. But we realize that a lot of you all may have some questions about the UCC. So this is the man. This is the head honcho of UCC right here. So he's going to give you all the insider knowledge on the competition portion of UCC. So Chris, man, we really appreciate you coming to Kentucky today and talking to us about UCC. So I've got so many questions. I got a little cheat sheet here, but so we're going to ask you just a few things, man. Really, I guess let's just start off with just tell us a little bit about UCC. What is UCC?
So the UCC is the easiest way to describe it is really it's a truck triathlon.
Okay.
We bring out 30 trucks, their drivers, their teams, and have them compete in 3 different events: drag racing, dyno, and sled pull. And see which truck can survive the 3 days, to be honest with you, and get the most points.
That's awesome. So, how do you pick your competitors, your entrants?
So we do it a couple different ways. The top 10 from the previous year get an automatic invite back to the UCC.
Okay.
We also do a UCC qualifier. We have one at the UCC and a couple throughout that allows people to come in and compete to try to earn a spot in the UCC. We do a couple different things, like with DPC. If you win it twice in a row, you get an automatic invite to come out and be a UCC competitor. And then the other ones, be honest with you, we keep a couple that we do for invites, just in case some of those drivers have catastrophic failures, but we know that they're still probably deserve an invitation back to it.
And then I guess those spots are filled by just hot trucks at the time, a truck we just know of in the industry. We just got kind of something you've kind of got your eye on. You're going to go, hey, this guy, he needs to be here.
And that's where the UCC being the first of the year is great for us, because we watch throughout the summer. We see some of the new names. We see what's happening. We see what happens over the summer, which really allows us to pick the best of the best, to be honest with you, or at least send out those invitations to them. So.
Okay, so tell us about the events. So we've got drag racing, we've got the dyno, and we've got sled pulling.
Yes.
Tell me about the points inside of those events. Do one of the events carry more weight than the other one, or?
No, none of the events carry more weight than the other. Okay. They all are, basically there's 1,000 points for each event. The difference with our scoring system is, depending on how you place and how much further you beat the person behind you, the more points you get. So you can actually, if you finish, say you run a 7-second, quarter mile, and the next closest is 8, you're actually going to see more points than you would if just taken first or taken second. So there is a way to get a little bit of a point advantage that way with it.
Right.
This year, we've always done the points. In the past, we've done it where the fastest time on the drag race gets you your points. Highest horsepower and torque numbers combined win you the dyno. And then we have an open pull on the sled pull, so that whoever pulls it, every inch you pull, you get points for it. We changed the rules a little bit this year. We allowed the top 10 to vote on any changes. 2 of the big changes that we had were, we're going to move the drag racing to an 1/8 mile rather than a quarter mile. That really is going to be more of a safety thing. Second, what we're doing this year, kind of the competitors and the fans have asked for it, the drag racing is going to be split into 2 sections. So they're going to be able to earn 500 points for their fastest time, but we're also going to have head-to-head racing, bracket racing with them. Basically one and done. If you don't win, you're out, and you can earn 500 points that way as well.
Okay.
So,
awesome. So you've actually got, there's actually 2 different categories inside of drag racing.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the year.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, cutting down from quarter mile, I know that's going to be big, because a lot of the drag trucks now are really centered on 1/8. Most of the tracks around the country, it seems like, are 1/8 mile. So that's a really, really big thing. And that's cool about the sled pull being run out, just whatever, balls to the wall, let's go.
Yeah.
It's not cab. That's cool. Let's see. what do you think? How many points is it going to take to win an event? I mean, just generally.
Well,
I guess the big thing, not to cut you off there, I know the big thing on everybody's mind is the dyno.
Right.
What's the horsepower it's going to take to win the dyno this year, you think, man?
In years past, you've got to be in the middle twos, to be honest with you. Derek Tiskett last year, I think he was at, I wish I would have looked before, but he was 23. I can't remember his torque on it. Yeah. You're going to have to put down some serious numbers on the dyno to do that. Really, to be competitive, to end up in the top 3, you've got to place at least in the top 5 in each event. I think the drags, last year we saw, 10 trucks in the 8 seconds. Mm-hmm. So I think, you're going to have to be fast. Yeah. You're going to have to put down the power on the dyno. And then when you pull, since we do have that open pull, you're going to want to be at least 320, 315, 320. Yeah. That's usually where the top guys are ending up with it. Yeah. So
it's more of a testament to the competitors too, to take even a dyno queen truck, to take a dyno queen truck to be able to turn around and be able to make a fast pass in drag racing is a testament to the drivers and to the teams. But it's a testament to get a truck set up for sled pulling. I mean, that's a whole different world. It doesn't matter whether it's a dyno queen going to the track or if it's an 1/8 mile truck going to sled pulling. That's when they're making hay. I mean, it's getting re-geared and getting reset up and be able to have a truck that's going to be competitive there. And you can make up ground there, too. Yeah. You can make up a lot of ground there, too. I know for drivers, that's a really, really big thing. So,
well, and like you said, you've got to give credit not only to the drivers but the teams as well. I mean, last year, drag racing day 1, Friday, Derek Rose's team put in 4 transmissions. Yeah. I mean, they went through 4 transmissions. I mean, we're seeing the trucks being in 3 days completely altered, from lightweight to digging deep and pulling trucks. Yeah. So it's a lot of work and a lot of commitment.
Oh, so, yeah. And they come into it with, a couple motors with them, several transmissions, whatever. Merchant did a motor swap last year or whatnot. That's happened to happen a couple of times. You go into it. Sometimes you have to go into it on a hard motor and just make the best that you can because you just run out of time. But you've got to be on the rollers, even if you're there on. You got to make on track. If it's on a hard motor, you got to do it for the points. So yeah, and you run out of time. And that's actually brings up a good point. Adam had written this in one of the questions that he had. Talk to us about the competitors having to stay on the grounds or on the campus of the Callout Challenge, not being able to leave there.
So so one of the rules we have in the UCC is once the truck rolls in, the truck has to stay on premise. Now, obviously, the driver can leave and go get food and stuff like that, but the truck cannot leave. So any repairs, changes, has to be done at the track in the pits. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I've been there a couple nights after hours. I'm usually one of the last ones leaves, first one in there. And I think this is just a testament to the industry in general, but there's nothing like seeing these 30 competitors competing, obviously against each other, and walking from pit to pit to borrow stuff or ask if they've got something, helping each other out. I mean, it's awesome to watch these guys not only compete, but then turn around and have that level of competition, but then also turn around and help each other out and friends and what do you need? How can we help? Or sending guys over.
That's right.
I mean, we've seen it year after year.
Yeah.
So.
No, I say, and I can attest that too. Even in the pits, it's very kumbaya. Even you got the keyboard warriors or whatever, but even these guys that are competing against each other, they're there to help. You don't want to see a guy not be able to compete. You want him to be there. You all have had actually rules meetings before where you could actually vote a guy out and they voted the guy to stay in for whatever the reason. You don't have to go into the specifics of that.
No,
but they want it. They want him there. They want him there to be able to thrash with them for sure.
Yeah, we really try to. Our rules are really based around obviously the driver safety, fan safety, and stuff like that. But they're really open because we're really want these guys to get the most performance, most power, whatever they can. Yeah. And so sometimes crap happens, and we have to call a drivers meeting, and we allow the drivers to vote. Hey, this happened. This is the thing. What do you guys want to do? Technically, it wasn't at the drivers meeting. You want to allow him to dyno? If you do, where do you want him? Right. Type situation. So it's and it's the same thing.
And that's cool.
They all go up, and I mean, it's funny. We, like you said, we've have these votes. It's almost the same answer. Yeah, he's here to compete. Let's let him compete. It's like no big deal, but as a promoter, you're like, oh crap, we gotta have another meeting.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's sharks too, man. I mean, as a competitor, you're like, yeah, heck yeah, I want to take him. I want to take him out. So yeah, absolutely. I guess we've talked about a lot of the technical of the rules of the. Well, we really haven't talked about the rules. Are there any rules here? I mean, is there any limitations to your modifications that you can do your truck for UCC? Or?
Not really. I mean, they're really generic. I mean, there's nothing really to write home about with it.
Back to safety here too.
Back to it's the safety.
Yeah.
It just comes down to the safety. We use the ODSS rules for the drag racing, so the guys know what they need to be. On the dyno, there's some time restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
They got 20 minutes once they tack in that they have to do their passes. So they're really minimal rules like that, just to keep the event flowing, keep it moving, make sure everybody's on an equal playing field, type situation.
Yeah. So. I know safety is big with them. Chris invited us down to an event last year, and we weren't allowed in a red zone, which you've got areas. So the spectators have got pretty well. They can go around, check the trucks out, check the pits out and whatnot. But there are red zones here. You can't be so close to the starting line of the quarter mile. It can't be very close to the dyno.
Yeah.
You got to be so many feet away from the truck pulling too. So
yeah, I mean, we try to keep it as open as we can.
Yeah.
Obviously it's funny. The dyno. We have everybody wants to get really close to the dyno. And obviously insurance is like, yeah, that's pretty much a grenade on a stage. And we're like, yeah, we got trucks putting down, 2.3, 2.5. If something goes, that shrapnel's going everywhere. And we just want everybody to be safe. Yeah. We try to get everybody as close as we can and make it, keep it as open as possible. Like you said, the pits are open to all the fans. Also our qualifier pits. I mean, really other than the red zones, and they're really small if you look at the map compared to what we have there. You get a good seat no matter where you're at. So
I'll say this for the competitors too. I mean, if you're walking through the pits or whatnot, and everybody's thrashing around these tents, they're doing transmission changes. Don't walk in these tents and go, hey, what are you guys doing right now? Like you got to understand. You got to be a normal human being. You got to kind of watch from a distance. Don't go sticking your head in anybody's tents or whatnot. So. Let's, I guess, really, let's kind of wrap up with. Tell me about how did you come up with this? Tell me about how you came up with UCC and how did this all come to be?
So the UCC started. James, the other guy that's part of the UCC, James Brendel. We've always ran the Northwest dyno circuit. We ran a dyno over there, and for a while, our shop was, we were putting out some big dyno numbers, and guys from the Midwest were like, "Oh, it's the altitude, it's the adjustment." And so really, we just thought, heck with it. Let's play off these egos. And so really, we came up with the idea. Let's bring them out. Everybody come out and let's do it. We did it in Salt Lake in 2016.
Yeah.
And we did it at 3 different locations, trying to make it work. And honestly, just blew up from there. And we had the guy say, we need to come to a bigger location. So the following year, we came out here to Indiana and literally went from 16. We had 2,000 spectators, and the following year we were just under 11,000. Yeah, just under 15 last year. We just right now we're up about 20% in ticket sales from the year before. I mean, it's been fun. I think it's just been nice because it's one of those things that we've been able to, as an industry, get behind and really help. But that's kind of where it did it. It's just. Come on, we're diesel guys. It's all about ego. Yeah. So it's really easy to start a competition with ego. So.
I think it's cool. I think it's been good for the industry. I really, really do. I think it's huge for the industry, and you've got to have competition inside of the industry to be able to. I mean, it's just really, really cool, and it's always it shows. The trucks that are pushing the edge of, we broke the 2,000 horsepower mark. How much longer is it going to take before we get to 3,000? And it's just really cool. I think it's good for the industry. I think you guys are doing a great job with it. So I'm waiting for Thoroughbred Diesel. Chris from UCC down today. Thank you for coming, man.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoyed it.
Appreciate it.
If you guys have got any questions, just let us know. Thank you.